Hello guys, my name is Remik, and in today's video we are going to talk once again about the jobs in the .NET applications. Recently I have created the video about how to properly configure and use the Quartz.NET library, so if you haven't watched this video yet, then please hit this image that is displaying over here. But today's video will be about the second way, the second solution, how to manage your jobs in the .NET applications, so the Hangfire. Hangfire is the more robust way of dealing with the jobs because it's keeping the data in the database, in the specific Hangfire tables, so they won't be lost. If you like this video, then as always, please hit the subscribe button, write the comment, and also give me the like under this video. And now we are going straight into the theory. Now with the very basic words, I will describe you how the Hangfire works like. So most of the times you will see the separated producer and the separated Hangfire server. So the producer is responsible for the creation of the jobs. For instance, do this job immediately, maybe after 5 minutes, please send this email, or maybe send the newsletter email every 7 days to all our customers. So the producer creates that kind of jobs and is storing the job data in the Hangfire tables in the database, and the server is fetching those jobs and then executes them. There are 4 main types of jobs being used in the Hangfire. The first one is the fire and forget job. The second one is the delayed job. The third one is the continuation job. And the last one is the recurring job. The recurring job executes over and over based on the specific cron schedule that is configured. The continuation job waits for the specific job to be completed based on the job ID, and then it executes as the fire and forget job. A delayed job is the kind of the job that executes after specific time. For instance, after 5 minutes, it has to be done. And the fire and forget job is the normal job that executes immediately and only once. Okay, now we are ready to create our producer and server in the empty solution. So we will create the new project, ASP.NET Core Web Application, that will be the Hangfire producer. And the next project will be the worker service. So let's wait. Worker service, and it will be the Hangfire.server. The next thing to do is to install the .NET related. The next thing to do is to install the related Hangfire Nugget packages. So we'll install them, Hangfire, and we have to install in our 2 projects the Hangfire. So I'll install this one also here. The next one is the Hangfire.SQL server, because we will use the SQL server in this video to keep our job data in it. So install here and here. The next Nugget package is the SQL client, because if we'll not install this, we'll have the exceptions. So SQL client here and here. And we are ready to go. I'll go to the program CS and I will start to configure our Hangfire producer. So I'll remove those comments, they're useless, and we can start with builder services at Hangfire. Okay, now the most important thing is to have the DB connection string. Before you have to create, if you don't have your database, then please create an empty database. If you have an existing database, then just check for the connection string. So I have created an empty database called Hangfire, and I have the connection string. So I'll just create specific section for the connection strings in the upsettings.json file, and I will pass the db connection. Connection string. I will copy my connection string notepad. And I am ready to configure the Hangfire. The first thing to do is to use SQL Server storage, and we'll fetch this from the configuration. So builder configuration, get connection string, and the name db connection string. The next thing is to set data compatibility level, and we are using the enum, so the latest one, the version 180. The next thing to do is to use simple assembly type serializer. The next thing to add is to use simple assembly name type serializer, and then use recommended serializer settings. And this will be all. Semicolon, and we have the Hangfire related settings in our producer. Okay, now we have to configure also the dashboard authentication authorization, some basic one. So we have to go over here and then write up, use Hangfire dashboard to see our jobs, and the path will be Hangfire, and then new dashboard options, authorization. This is the array, so new array of the filters, and then we can use some built-in Hangfire filter. So we have to add specific nugget package, some basic authentication. Okay, so we have the user and also the pass. So we can fetch this directly from the configuration. So app configuration get section, and we will create one just in a second. It will be Hangfire options, call user, value, and the next one will be the password. So app configuration get section Hangfire options pass and the value. We have to go now to the upsettings.json and add the specific section Hangfire option, and it will be the user. So for the demo purposes 1 to 3, and also the pass, and the same 1 to 3. Okay guys, now we're ready finally to configure our Hangfire server. So we can remove the worker because this is the default implementation. Remove this add hosted service. Change this to var. Type here host, and we have to fetch the configuration. So it will be var configuration, and it will be new new configuration builder, then add JSON file, of course app settings JSON, and then build. Now we can actually copy the essential configuration for the Hangfire from the program CS of the producer. So I'll just copy that here. Services at Hangfire, missing references. The configuration will be replaced with this builder configuration. Go a little bit up. Build, run, and we have to add the one very crucial setting, so the Hangfire server. So services add Hangfire server in order to run. DB connection string, we have to fetch same way from the app settings JSON. So I'll just copy this array. App settings JSON, and then connection strings. Okay, now we are ready to create finally the job controller, which will create the three simple jobs. So fire and forget, delayed job, and also the continuation job. So I am creating the new controller called job controller. We have to, of course, add API controller attribute and also the route attribute. So controller with the square brackets, and to the constructor we have to pass the iBackgroundJobClient. So it will be private read-only iBackgroundJobClient. This is the built-in client from the Hangfire to create the jobs. The background job client, and also will be signed in the constructor, and we have to create three posts. So HTTP post, and it will be the public, the normal, synchronous with the returning of the string, and it will be the first one, fire and forget. That will have inside the from body string text that will pass to our method. And the first thing to do is to run the enqueue method. This is the method that is responsible for creation of fire and forget jobs. We are passing the delegate, and will be console write line text, and we'll just return task from result, and we can pass the text. Okay, next one will be the delayed job, so the job that will be executed after a specific time. So public task also string, and it will be delayed, and also from body will take text, will pass and it will be background job client, and the method is schedule. So we have to pass the delegate, then as before console write line, we are passing the text as a parameter, and now the time. So time span, let's say from minutes 1, and then we are returning task from result and the text as before in the fire and forget job. And the next one is the continuation job. So public ask string continuation job, and inside from body string text. And this is the job that will be executed after another job was finished properly. So we have to create the one job to wait for, so we can just use the existing job and it will return for us the job ID. So this job will return us the job ID, and we have to pass this to the continuation job to wait for this job to be completed. So background job client, and the method is continue job with, and the first as the parameter, as you see, is the parent ID. So the parent ID is the job ID in that case. Then, as always, passing delegate console right line. It could be the text as before, and then we have to return task from result and this text. We have to add also the route parameter. We have to add as well the route attribute here because we have the free post, so it will be the fire and forget. Also here route will be delayed, and the third one route, and it will be continuation. Now we are able to check how those jobs will look like in our fancy UI, and of course how they were created. So I'll run the producer. We have those 3 jobs. So remember, our Hangfire server now is switched off. So none of those jobs will be executed, but they will wait for the server when it will be up and running, and then those jobs will be fetched from the database and executed. So we have to try it out. We'll pass fire and forget about me. Let's say execute. We have 200 delayed job after the 1 minute, which will be executed. Will be wait 1 minute, and the last one be I'm waiting for next one to be completed. Execute, and now we have to go to the Hangfire. And we see that we have 1 enqueued job and 2 scheduled jobs. And also 1 awaiting. That is only on succeeded state as an option. So now we can turn on our server. Now, after running the server, we can refresh the view and check. We have no enqueued jobs at all. We have the 1 scheduled that will be done after the specific time. As you see, 4 of those are succeeded. So 1 was waiting for the 1 job that was scheduled before, and now it executed properly. 1 enqueued job was immediately done, and also 2 of them that were here from the controller were also executed properly. Okay guys, now I would like to show you how it looks like in the database. So as you see, I have the Hangfire database, and it created for me 11 tables, as you can see here on the screen. So the most important tables just to see what happened in our system are those two. So the table called job and also the state. So I'll execute this select everything from those two tables and I can show you how it looked like. So as you see, we have the job ID column and here you have the job IDs that are related to the jobs that were created. So as you remember, the first one was only the fire and forget job. So it was enqueued, then processing, and then it was succeeded. The next one was the delayed job. So it was scheduled, then enqueued, processing, and then succeeded. And the next one was the job that was waiting for another job. So the job with ID name 3 was also the delayed job. So it was scheduled and queue processing succeeded. And the job number 4 was awaiting for this job number 3 to be done. And then it was executed as an fire and forget job. And the second database table that you can go to, you have the job table, that you have the state of the job that was done, also the invocation data, and also the arguments, when it was created, and so on and so forth. Now there's time to talk about the most important job in the Hangfire, so the recurring job. The recurring job actually is configured in the way based on the cron schedule, it will be executed. For instance, if it will be every 10 seconds, it will be done every 10 seconds. So we'll just create an email service, and this email service will have the one method called send email, and based on the destination, it will be sent from our Gmail account that will be linked to our application. Okay, now I will just create the new service called email service, and I will create as well in a second my email service interface. This will be kept in the separated shared project, so it will be hangfire.shared. Just remove this class and create directory called services, and that service will have I service, and it will have the one method called send email, and it will take the email and also the password from our configuration. So I'll leave it as it is. I'll go our producer, and we have to add, of course, the reference to it and implement missing members. Now we have to create the job, so also we need to have the separated job interface, so it will be called as the jobs, so directory jobs, and it will be I send email job, will be the interface, and it will have the task execute, and it will be without any parameters, and we'll create also here the folder called jobs, and in the server side we'll create send email job, We'll have also the send job as an interface, a reference. And now we have to, of course, inject the email service and also get from somewhere the email and password from which email we'll be sending those emails to the customers. So we have to add separated directory called options, and here it will be server options. It will be the public string email and also the password, and will be the public const string server options key will be called as the server options. And in the upsetting JSON, we'll just create the separated server options in which we'll have email, also the password that will write after creation of the Gmail account and also after the configuration of that email. So we'll leave it as it is, server options. And now we have to go back to the program CS of the server. And we have to add services, configure server options, and from the configuration get section server options dot options key, so it will be configured and we'll be able to fetch that configuration in our job. And now we have to, of course, create the constructor of this job, set the private read-only string, email, and also private read-only string password, options, and we will pass the server options and the value of this email will be server options dot value dot email, and also the password will be server options value dot, of course, password. Now we have to inject also the email service. So it will be the private read-only email service. Maybe it will be good to have this above. And also I will go here and inject email service. Email service and assign this to the email service. And in the execute method, we'll just call the email service, send email, and we'll pass email and the password. Okay, now we are ready to write our implementation of the email sending functionality. I have done this already, so I will just make small correction here because it has to be the async call and also the async as the name. All right, and I'll just copy the implementation of the sending email. I'll just fetch all the references to be email. And then, as you see, we are creating the mail message, then assigning the mail address as the from, then we are sending this to our customer Hangfire demo email. So this is our customer. This is like the example body, and we are using the SmtpClient, using the host and the port 587 as the Gmail has, and we are sending this email. Okay, now there's the time for the final configurations. So we have to go to the server program CS, and we have to register the job. So services at scoped, I send email job, send email job, and also the send email service. So services at scoped, I email service, and we have to go to the program CS, and finally the recurring job statement. So the recurring job add or update to specify the job. So send email job. And now we have to pass the job ID. So I'll create this job ID like that. String. Now the method. So execute. We have to pass the cron schedule. So it will be the cron. And let's say minutely. Now we are ready to go. We will run the producer and the server, and we will see in the customer's Gmail how those emails will look like. So I'll run the producer, also the server, so run server, and we'll see and check our email box. So if nothing here, we'll go to the Hangfire and the recurring jobs. We have the one job. Wait a while. And as you see, the first Hangfire job email is in my Gmail. So as we see, it was sent from the Hangfire demo 21, so our application's account. Now let's wait for the next emails. I will show you, I'll speed it up a little bit, how it will look like. Okay, as you see, the emails were sent properly every minute. So this is the evidence that everything worked fine, and our Hangfire recurring job also was configured properly. This is everything for today's video. If you like this video, then please hit the subscribe button for more, give me the like and also the comment. And I wish you the very nice day.